I'm Nathaniel Wood. I'm a London UFC bantamweight fighter, and I'm training at Team Titan and Raptor Strikeforce.
Well, every British UFC star at the moment wants to know when you're fighting next.
You know, that'd be a good guess because at the moment I still don't know. You know, I believe next year, usually around March, February, they do a London card.
Yeah.
I haven't got confirmation of that, but you know, if that's happening, then you know, you best believe I'll be on that. So I'm just hoping to get one more this year, but you know, it's every week that goes is another show out of the way. So I'm just waiting by the phone and hoping I'll get a call soon.
Yeah, is there any reason why you can't get out at the end of the year? Because especially at your stage of the career, you want to be fighting 2-3 times a year, and with the UFC kind of booming at the moment, you know, it's just I would have thought they would have got you back out.
Yeah, I did get an offer a while back after my fight, but it was too short notice. I would never have made the weight. You know, that's the problem for me. I'm always fit. I'm always in fighting shape. I could fight on Saturday if I wanted, but for me, I have to get the weight down. So usually, you know, I need at least 5 weeks sort of notice to get it down. For me to maintain weight around, to be able to take a fight 2 weeks out, you know, it's too hard. It's a lot of hard work. So you know, I kind of need a bit of a heads up when I'm fighting to get that weight near 61 kilos. No,
fair enough. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. Just a bit about know a little bit about yourself. Obviously, hardcore UFC or MMA fans would probably know you, but let's just talk about how did you get into MMA? What age were you? And
well, originally, you know, my dad, he's always done martial arts. He's done everything. You know, he's a black belt in karate, black belt in judo. You know, the list will go on. So I've always been a big fan of martial arts. I've always watched the UFC, etc. But it was when I actually left school. I was 16 and I started carpentry at college. And I was working on a building site the 2 days off. And I thought to myself, man, I do not want to be doing this for the rest of my life. I thought, you know what, I've always wanted to do a sport for a living. But pretty much at the age of 16, if you're not already kind of professional in whatever sport you're doing, it's going to be hard. So I was watching the UFC one day, and I think it was Demetrius Johnson was saying that he didn't start the sport until he was 19, I believe. And I thought, you know, I'm 16, why not give this a shot? And I went along with my dad the next day, and you know, I was like a duck to water. And every week I was training every day, and then before I knew it, you know, quit my job, training twice a day, 3 times a day, and literally the rest is history.
So before 16, you never entered?
No, I did about a year's worth of kickboxing when I was about 10 or 11, just because my old man said, you know, go and learn how to fight, basically. But then I quit that because I was playing football a lot of the time, and then the times clashed. So I thought, you know what, football is what I'd rather play. So I went along, done that, and then, you know, had nothing until 16.
Okay. Just to cut that bit. So who's your team?
Chelsea.
Chelsea? Oh, okay, we might have to cut you in. No, I'm joking. So back to what you were saying about you got into the gym. So what was a martial art you started to learn?
Pretty much I just went straight into MMA. My dad was training at a jiu-jitsu gym at the time, so I went along and started with Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but pretty much, you know, the next day I was in the garden hitting the bag. My dad was doing pads with me, and even to this day, you know, my dad's always in my corner, and he's one of my head coaches. So, you know, I've kind of been spoiled with coaches. I've always had someone there for pads. You know, I know a lot of fighters, they don't have the people that they necessarily need around them. So for me to have someone like my dad around me all the time is, you know, I've got a head start there. So, yeah, you know, I'd say I've always been spoiled. I've always had someone there for me. And I would say the training I've had from the age of 16 is quality training. Whereas I think a lot of fighters that started younger, they might not be getting the right training that they need, whereas I've had 100% attention given to me from the get-go.
It's interesting you say about your dad training you, because we see it a little bit more nowadays. You know, obviously Wonderboy, for instance, for example, always has his dad as his head coach. So when you made that transition from potentially being a carpenter into MMA, you had the full support of your family
exactly.
From that. Was that a bit of a relief, or, you know, because I've seen interviews before where fighters have said their family don't want them going into the sport, but with you it's kind of the opposite, isn't it, really?
Yeah, so my dad's never once pushed me into it. You know, I think he would rather me be a businessman and be not getting punched in the head for a living right now. But he's always supported me 100%. You know, to have him as a coach, I can trust him 100% because all he's interested in is me. He's not earning any money off me. You know, he's not there just to get 50 speak with for an hour session or whatever. So anything he says to me, I know he's only got my best interest at heart. You know, if he tells me you're looking shit in training, then I'll take what he says. But you know, unfortunately enough, as you say, my parents always supported me. At the time, when I was 16, I was doing a bit of work, so I was paying a little bit of rent. But even with that, my dad said, don't pay me rent, just use that for the gym costs and whatnot. So to have them in my corner and supporting me, you know, it's been a great help. Whereas I know a lot of fighters, you know, their parents aren't as supportive as mine could be.
Absolutely.